thank you, sir, for your time, and like it's a great honor to meet you finally. So 10 years of Comic Con, how does it feel?
Very long time. I'm just happy that we get to celebrate it because we actually officially turned 10 during the pandemic.
During the pandemic, yeah. So
and
like
we couldn't
3
do
years.
anything, you know. So it was very frustrating and it was sad at that point in time. But then coming back and then having these shows and people just really enjoying themselves and being back in such large numbers. So that's a good payoff for waiting.
So after 3 years, like how does it feel? Like, well, is the crowd responses good?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's certainly, I mean, you've been attending shows. I think there's something out there in the sense that people have been kind of cooped up and not done anything where they are part of a larger crowd. So that helps. And obviously, when you wait for 3 years, you know, once a year, theek hai. But 3 years or 2 years wait karo, then it's a bigger response in any case. So it's been great. I mean, I have no complaints. Our problems have actually only been about how do we accommodate more people rather than, you know, will
How
we
to
have
get
enough?
more traction,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's been the least of the issues. Yeah.
So like Comic Con has like set the trend of cosplaying in India.
Yeah.
So like, do you think like Comic Con will play a major role in the future for cosplayers?
Yeah, obviously. Our aim is for everyone to cosplay. I would cosplay if I did not have to run around, and it's a lot of fun, honestly, because you end up being a celebrity at Comic Con.
Yeah, exactly.
If I were to just even cosplay as a Chacha Chaudhary character, people would stop me and take pictures. So that's something a lot of people who haven't attended and don't understand that cosplay has so much fun attached to it.
Exactly.
And obviously, when people start taking it much more seriously, then they become professionals, and that's why we have those categories. So we'll always be there doing something or the other around cosplay and having this space where people can come and just express themselves.
Okay. So you just said that you will cosplay. So what character other than Chacha Chaudhary?
So the only time I cosplayed were first 2 shows of Comic Con. The first ever Comic Con, I was with hair Jean-Luc Picard in my Star Trek uniform. Store brought, did not make it. The second time I was Kato from Green Hornet in Mumbai, the first ever Mumbai Comic Con. But within like an hour, I was running around so much that it was just me wearing some random safari suit and running around. So people couldn't understand what am I doing.
Okay.
Uske baad, honestly, I realized that I don't think I have the ability of cosplaying during the shows. So I've taken a pause. It's been a long time. But I try. I usually have my. I don't have a cosplay costume that I usually create for Comic Cons, but I do have a sort of a uniform, and I try. I usually have something very attached to some IP or some character that I like. I'll be wearing that, like your tea, but not today. It's all formal today.
Okay. So like, what are your plans for Comic Con in the upcoming years? So like, there are manga, anime, along with DC and Marvel.
Yeah, I mean,
taking
look,
the main stage. So like,
I grew up reading comic books and obviously the DC and Marvel stuff a lot more than manga. Manga came to my life much later, probably around college time, and that too, the old school stuff like Osamu Tezuka and all.
Okay.
So by the time I got to, and I'm slightly older now, so by the time I got to Viz Media stuff, which is mostly and Kodansha, like Attack on Titan or Naruto, I was like, this is a lot to read. Too many 70 plus volumes to store and collect. But yeah, I mean, look, there's a trend, and every few years that cycles, shifts to a different trend. This season, manga and anime are on the rise. If you're in the show floor, I have gotten DC guys saying, "Oh, you the Animecon kar rahe ho aap." Because it's simple. The movies aren't doing that well, so automatically the vibe around it goes a little slow, and then you move to manga and anime. People are going crazy about these titles.
Exactly.
You saw Crunchyroll trying to launch their service. So it's not something I'm doing by purpose. It's the fans driving it.
Exactly.
Right? You go towards content which is trending and you try and get it. So a lot of people are coming in and they're probably first time anime manga fans. Either they picked up a book and they started reading it. I know so many people got into it just because of the hype around Chainsaw Man.
Exactly.
Oh my god, he has a head for it. What is that? I picked up a lot of titles just because some of the concepts are intense, like One Punch Man. I mean, come on.
A single punch, you can defeat anyone.
Assassination Classroom is just like mind blowing.
Exactly.
Kya ho raha hai, and that's so different from a superhero. So it's a cycle, and I'm glad even a Marvel and DC fan then is forced to kind of check out the other content, and it's all fantastical. It's interesting. Yeah, you get to read it ulta if you're picking up the book, but that's okay. If you don't want to read it, you can watch it.
Yeah, definitely.
So there's always those options. But yeah, I mean, it's been like I said, every few years that trend changes depending on what's going around. And yeah, so right now the superhero movies are kind of taking a beating. That's okay. But then there's a lot more content to check out,
Exactly. But we also have superhero genre in manga and anime also.
Obviously,
so like that is also happening.
yeah. But manga and I personally, anime and manga is has a much more deeper, has more depth to it. And I don't mean to say superheroes are superficial, but there is a much larger variety to the type of stories, and then you can pick up what you like.
Exactly.
For different age groups or different types of, like I really like Gundam. I love robots. So I can go into so many different places and watch that. I can watch Voltron. I can Gundam, obviously the classic Transformers, but and those are Japanese, by the way.
Yeah.
So so I mean, I think a lot of people don't understand that make a little bit of an effort, and you'll really love the world of anime and manga. And if you want to start, go back. I mean, I always recommend Akira. Dekho. And then blow your mind, and then you'll come back to realize so many things are taken from there. So yeah, that's what.
Like the iconic
as you can tell, I spent
drive.
a lot of my pandemic time watching all the older stuff. So
yeah. So like you mentioned Osamu Tezuka. So like, which is your favorite Osamu Tezuka manga?
So I think the most craziest one is Blackjack.
That is amazing.
There's some of the stuff is weird as fuck. The Buddha series was something, a lot of Indians end up reading it simply because it's very easily available.
It's easily available, plus it's about Indians and the history of Buddha.
Exactly, like Buddha series.
Yeah.
But it's so much more than just a story.
Than just a story,
and,
exactly.
it's the massive volume set. Exactly. And that's one of the first collections that I'd picked up because I'd heard of Osamu Tezuka. I'd seen some stuff, but I'd never really picked it up. And then in India, you get access to that particular book a lot. So that's how I started. So I mean, Osamu Tezuka Blackjack series was intense.
Okay. So like, other than manga and anime, when you started this like 10-13 years ago, so what inspired you to get into pop culture? Basically?
I was publishing comic books,
Yeah.
and at that point in time, I also used to produce a show called the Golden Kela Awards, which is like a Razzies, Indian Razzies.
Okay.
If you've seen, there's a new series called Cinema Se Marte Dam Tak in Prime Video.
Yeah.
That has a cameo of Golden Kela Awards.
Okay.
So we thought we could do events, and then no one had done a Comic Con before. So we thought, let's do it. We'll sell our own comics. It'll be a lot of fun. Some people, we'll get to buy our own comics, and it just be a fun small event. And then it just took off by itself. So it wasn't a business when it started.
Okay.
And then by the time we did the Mumbai show, we were like, okay, you know what, this needs to be taken seriously.
Okay. So like, is there any future plan to get into publishing again, or like?
We actually when in 21, right before the second wave, we decided we'll do CCI publishing.
Okay.
And then which would not essentially be picking up people who we like stories of and giving them a platform, like sort of like on Image Comics model where I don't own the IP, I just publish it for you.
Okay.
Obviously the pandemic just slowed that down. That is still something that I would like to restart and bring it back. I'm hoping I get to, but I don't know yet.
Okay. You just mentioned image publishing. So like, image publishing hasn't been that popular with audiences over here in India.
I think it's just distribution, man. It's just access. People are lazy. I'm lazy. If I can't click and just get it the next day, waiting. For some books I wait 2 months. But mostly I just wanted, easy gratification, right? So that's the challenge. And I'll tell you a story. Like, if you're reading Viz Media, you have to thank slightly us in India, because to have Simon & Schuster in India, which is a big
huge
publisher, and to have the meeting where we got the head at Viz to meet them, was us. Because we said, you guys have to sell these books in India.
Oh, amazing.
So we had to bring those two parties together. They were already together internationally, but in India that hadn't been done.
Okay.
So, and once that was set up, now you get access to all those books on Amazon like this.
Yeah.
And manga is cheaper than DC and Marvel.
Exactly.
Yeah, and also if you buy books, don't value them basis price. Value them basis what
based
you
on
like.
the content,
Yeah.
So we can ask that for Simon and Schuster in the next meeting.
Yes, please. But but the thing is, they're obviously great people, and they didn't know that they were fans for this. So
Okay.
when they started doing it, they had one booth, and they're like, "Acha." Now they're like, "Oh my god!" And obviously, it's massive. The past few years have been insane. So they come and they create the space, and they research what titles are trending, and then they invest that time to bring those here.
Yeah.
And we tried very hard, and we'll keep trying to get more voice talent as well. Not just the Indian ones, but international ones. Now that Crunchyroll's also in
Crunchyroll's
this
also,
space.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if you're a manga and anime fan, next few years are going to be exciting. A
Great,
lot of
great.
fan service.
Great. So that's it. So that's it for now.
Perfect.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
sir. Thank you for your time.
Thanks. Thank you guys. Bye.